I want to begin by stating that this class has truly been a very eye-opening experience and has changed my outlook on life. Before beginning this course, I was completely ignorant to the social issues and injustices that are present in the world, in this country, and in our very own community. One thing that I will take away from this class is definitely what I have learned from the What Would You Do videos. Before watching these real-life scenarios, I am not afraid to admit that in many of these situations, I would have been a bystander because I would have been afraid to get involved. But now, after seeing how appreciative the oppressed individuals are for those that do step in, I feel that I would have more courage to say something because no one deserves to be targeted for who they are. In completing my 2 experiences, I now know that I have grown as an individual. For my first experience, I chose to observe a classroom of 3 to 5-year-olds at Sybil Hop School. Because I'm going into education, I felt that it was very important to observe kids that have to deal with a disability on a daily basis. After meeting these kids and being able to work with them one-on-one for a few hours, I was able to see how special each and every one of them are, and how even though they may learn in a way that is different than most kids, they still have every right to learn and receive a quality education. My second experience was one that definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone. I chose to volunteer at Paul's Pantry as part of MLK Day. As stated in my presentation yesterday, I was fortunate enough to receive a tour, and it was on this tour that I heard numerous stories of what life is like for the thousands of underprivileged in my own community. I left Paul's Pantry honestly feeling bad for how privileged I am. I am fortunate enough to be in a family that never had to worry about where our next meal was coming from. If I'm hungry, I can walk a few feet to my pantry to get a snack. But for so many in the Green Bay area, the majority being children, they don't have this luxury. Luckily, there are places in the area like Paul's Pantry that collect food for those who need it most. With the completion of this course, I have had time to think about what I need to do as a privileged individual. I want to be an advocate for change in honor of all the oppressed individuals who don't have the power to make change themselves. I vow to not be a bystander, but speak up when I see a situation that I know is wrong, and to put my fears and resignations aside. Because I am privileged, I intend to donate money, goods I no longer need or use, and time to volunteer to those who are less fortunate. Lastly, I intend to be an advocate and inform my future students about the change that needs to be made. I will hold drives for food, diapers, clothes, or whatever is most needed in my community at that time. I will also teach my students to stand up for others instead of being a bystander. Lastly, I will give my students the skills needed to understand that they too can become advocates of change.